What's going on, legends? Welcome back to another episode here on the podcast of Meta Legends Live. It's your host, Rose, here, and today we have a lot of great things going on and a lot of interesting information to be provided to you. So we're going to just go right into it. If this is your first time tuning in, make sure to stick around, give you a little bit of idea of what Meta Legends Project is. So first off, they're here to save humanity. It is a collection of NFTs. There are 12,345 legends who are categorized by their level of rarity and also their generated elements. So the goal with the Meta Legends Project is to create a complete ecosystem. And they're going to be doing this through the MetaConnect app, which is an application that is going to be a new form of social media here on the blockchain environment in the Web3 space. It's going to be really unique. We're going to be looking forward to some updates as we discuss throughout the podcast here. And also the next level of that is the Meta Life Metaverse. So here we go. Let's get into it, talking about the agenda. First, we're going to run through some of the AMA announcements that we had earlier on this week. You may have heard them on Wednesday, but in case you missed that episode, I'm just going to go through it again today. Also, we have an interesting guest to be interviewed today. His name is ZeusKitty. Very interesting experience in the whole crypto blockchain Web3 space. So happy to learn about his perspective and all the information that he could provide to us as he's gone throughout his journey. And then at the end, kick it back in the lounge and run through what's going on. And I know some of you are waiting for that final treasure hunt clue. So make sure you stick around, see when that gets dropped. All right, time to dig into the meat of it. All right. So as many of you know, it is the month of the legends. We are here because of you, the community. The community enables us to do so many great things. We're able to outreach and create new opportunities, whether that's through other social media forms or collaborations or partnerships with other projects. It's because the community is able to engage and communicate and contact others and provide those kind of exposures for this project. We love our community because of how strong they are. Like there are tons of different scenarios that get thrown at communities, but how they handle them, how they react to them, and how they continue to keep on moving forward is just so incredible, especially when you look at the Meta Legends community. We have a very strong band of members that really, there are a lot of them that stick out among others, but in a collective form, we have such an incredible community. And, that's why we have this month of the legends, because we want to give back to each and every one of them, or at least give them the opportunity to. And so that's why we have the chance every day this month to win about $1,234 worth of giveaway prizes. And so what do those prizes kind of entail? I'm going to run through the list for you just in case you missed it. And if you need any more clarification on it, make sure to hop into the Meta Legends Discord because they will be listed out there. Okay. Ooh. We're going to take a breath because there's a lot going on. But so there will be in total 165 winners throughout the month of February, otherwise known as the month of the legends. And those prizes will include 72 winners of $9,600, 54 Ledger Nano S's, 16 AirPod Pros, 15 Oculus Quest 2s, 4 bundles of iPad Pro 11 and Ledger Nano X, and 4 MacBook Airs. Woo! Community, do you hear those things, those prizes? And how do you become eligible? The first thing that you have to do is be a holder, because this is for the holders. This is for the community. We want to give back to the community that has really been supporting the project, really pushing us to be the best. And look at all that. These are prizes that are being given away every day. And I will run you through what the weekly events kind of look like. So on the Mondays, we have 12 winners of $100 worth of ETH that is open to be won. How do you participate? It is just community engagement. Get into the Discord and start accumulating as many points as you can, because whoever has the most points out of the 12 people that have the most points, they will be the ones winning that ETH. Spammers beware. We do see you, and we will respond appropriately by taking away points. And it's not just going to be a couple of points. We want to make sure it's fair and that it's a constructive engagement with the community. So you've been warned. That's on Mondays. So Tuesdays, there will be an opportunity for 18 winners of the Ledger Nano S. And what do? You just have to react to a post that is inside of the Discord, basically. And it was really crazy. I mean, we had almost 1,000 people reacting to it, 18 winners going. I'm just so happy to see that we're taking such a priority in the security of our holders, because one of the bigger gifts throughout the bundles and whatnot are the Ledger Nanos and the Ledger Nano, the S and the X. So one of the biggest things that we care about is the community's safety and security. So make sure you are all protecting your digital assets, whether that is through educating yourself more about different risks that are being presented throughout this Web3 space, or protecting it in another way by putting it on a cold storage and understanding the differences between your hot and cold wallets. So check it out. That's going on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, this is where a lot of people have been getting excited, because that's where we have the winners for the AirPod Pros. And this week we did a little bit different. We had a special mystery game. The prior week we had a treasure hunt, but the treasure hunts have been very cool, and I'll talk about that here in a moment. We had a different one where we had to go out there and identify certain legends throughout the collection by their token ID, and there was a lot of people that got them all right. And so it takes a little bit of time for you to identify the different attributes and be able to go up and search them in the OpenSea or the raritysniper.com and come back and provide all of those correct. And I think it was almost 120 people got all of them correct. So pretty cool stuff to get the community engaged, especially if they're going and checking through the different attributes. It really just makes people more aware of how to look these things up. So that's going on the Wednesdays, is that AirPods Pro giveaway for participating in the mystery games. And then on Thursdays, we have the quizzes. And the quizzes, they get close, because I mean, it just takes one answer for you to just drop out of the running. People are crazy about these quizzes, and it's so much fun to see how intense they get. And for me, I love it. It's like an adrenaline rush when I jump into one of the quizzes. I can remember my first quiz that I got into. I was like, I don't know, maybe this is not the thing that I want to do. But by the end of it, I was like, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, because that's how you select the kind of different answers. Is you got to select the correlating numbers. It's fun. If you want to see what it's all about, hop in on the Thursdays for those quizzes. There's 3 of them throughout the day, making sure that we're covering all the different time zones. So check it out. Hop over into the Meta Legends Discord. Then we move into the weekend. So on Fridays, that is where there is a chance to win the Oculus Quest 2. This is through the Twitter Meta Contest. How does that work? Basically, the Meta Legends NFT Twitter, the main Twitter, will drop a special tweet. You have to go out there, follow Meta Legends NFT and at Meta Legends Live, retweet it, tag 3 friends. Make sure you do all of the requirements. I know it sounds crazy that they're all listed out there and you would think people would do them all, but some people don't do them all and it loses their chance at actually winning the giveaway. So please, just a reminder, do all the steps. You will thank me later. And those are, so that's what happens on the Fridays. And moving into the Saturdays, today is the conclusion of the treasure hunt. So what will be happening here is the one bundle of the iPad Pro 11 and the Nano X. So these are going to be cool. It's another fun bundle to win, and that happens every Saturday. And after Saturdays, we have Sunday. We have a nice, calm Sunday where you're able to win a MacBook Air through that Twitter Meta contest. So make sure you're going out there, checking out all the different ways that the holders can win the prizes. Make sure you're just coming and having fun in the Discord. You know, I'm pretty sure I just saw, I'm going to give him a shout out. I'm pretty sure I just saw Collie Buzz hanging out in there, chatting it up in the voice chat with some people. So shout out there. We're doing something, getting the right people in, having the right kind of conversations, having fun with it. Woo! So that is the month of the legends. That's all the stuff that you can win if you are a holder. So if you have any questions, go look at it in the Discord and also just ask it to any of the members. You know, that's one of the great things about our community is the response. You know, our community has such a good response to newcomers, to people who have questions, people who have concerns. We address them, whether it's one of the moderators or a normal member. It doesn't matter. We will be there to address all of those things. So thank you to the community for all that you do. And if you're new, we hope to see you in there. Come check it out. All right. What else can we get talking about? Oh, I think the creator had a nice post earlier on in the week. It might have been Sunday. I can't remember what specific day, but it was earlier this week where the Meta Legends Twitter account has now been certified. So it's got that nice little blue check right there on the end of its name. And it's nice to see that because they've been grinding. They've been working really hard, doing a lot of different strategies in the marketing and on social medias and building up the community. So big shout out to the team organizing and being able to push through all of the things that they've done in the past couple of months to get us to where we're at today. Big shout out to the team. And then we also got, here we go. We got some notes from the AMAs throughout the week. So there were a lot of things going on. I'm pulling over the notes. And just to give you a kind of a heads up, it was with Max, and there were a lot of great questions asked and a lot of things answered. So to run it through, here it is. Here we go. Yeah, so here we go. Here's some of the questions that we're going to run through. Could we have a little bit more info about the trailer advancement? So big news here. It was the first time we kind of got some real dates set around a couple of different things being, talked about in action by the project. So right now we are making really good progress with the studio called Antinomy. And who is this studio? How did they come to be, or how are they significant? Well, you might be more familiar with them when you hear some of the other websites that they're also developing. And I mean, not websites, sorry, the other trailers that they're developing. I mean, if you go out there and check out some of their stuff, you will see just some of the quality that they're able to provide. It is realistic. It is cinematic. It is truly incredible how how real the graphics are. And what I can't wait to see how the Metal Legends will look being produced by this studio. So it's going to be a AAA trailer. The team has put a lot of money into it because it's going to be a significant component to really pushing the message of Metal Legends out there into the world. It's really going to help propel and push us up. So working with Antonami Studio, sorry. It's a tough one for me to say, but they are truly a great studio and lots of things to be checked out. And go ahead after the sneak peeks. You might see a couple of things about works in progress. So also, what else are they talking about? When are we going to be able to see it? So the trailer and a couple of the other assets are going to be available coming more in the Q2 timeframe. This is going to be like the May, June area, which is what they originally said, but it was the first time that Max actually put a month or a time frame on it. So it was great to hear that there's going to be a lot of things to look forward to in the next coming months. All right, what else? So long-term projects aim for the best, and if that's what it takes to get there, that's what we're going to do. That's a quote that Max had. We stand by. What we're trying to deliver here is just quality. If it takes a little bit of the extra time for the release to be delayed, so be it, because we don't want to release a bad product. We don't want to release something that would provide a bad experience to you. We want to make sure that it is something that you are all happy to be a part of, proud to be a part of, and excited to share with others. So cool stuff to hear, fun improvements and progress being made. And I wish I could tell you all so much more, but I'll just hold on with the tease. So what else was asked? Oh, here's a great question. It was more of like, what is the process for creating a AAA trailer and the meta line? So the way that it was explained by Max was you start off with the NFT, right? You have the NFTs like the collection that we have now, and then you develop the different layers of production. Right now, what they're doing is working through the concept art. So what is the concept art? It's kind of like here on the screen where you see the different kind of armor concepts that we have for the legends. And when these things get finalized and they get made, that's when we're able to move into the next stage, which is actually pushing them off to the studios to create the 3D models for them. And there's different stages that you have to hit and meet to get it all together, because another thing that he says, you can't shoot the final scene if you haven't made all the props, right? If you haven't made the environments, you haven't provided all the other core materials to actually make that production happen. And so that's what the team is doing, is gradually building up to those points. So it's really cool to learn this kind of a perspective, and nothing but excitement from here. I mean, I hear it in the community. They're all excited about lots of things that are coming into the Meta Legends scope, and this is definitely one of them. So what else do we got here? We also had, all right, when will the website, trailer, and the other assets launch be provided? So again, this is kind of something I touched on a little bit earlier. The assets like the website, the trailer, the marketplace, these are all going to get dropped at the same time. I know. It's like, do you want to be overwhelmed with excitement? I mean, I kind of do, but then it's like, wow, this is going to be a lot of stuff to just take in at once. The website, the trailer, the marketplace, and the assets like the land, pets, etc., they're all going to get dropped at the same time in that May, June timeframe, which is just mind-blowing. It's exciting to hear. It's exciting to actually see, because, I mean, what are we in? February? That's in within the next 4 months. How that just makes me think about, how old is this project? Oh, it's about that many months old, 4 months or so old. So we can wait. We can wait. We just have to be patient and believe and show the support, because whew, just wait. We're building the rocket and it's going to blast off. Just you wait. So, like I said, those assets, when are they going to be launched? The soft date for that is in the end of May, early June timeframe. But again, I'll hit you with the point of, we prefer to provide quality instead of rushing through a process. So please keep that in mind. And all right, next thing that was asked in this AMA, do we have any new information about the tokenomics? And yes, so on Monday, they had a call that went really well with a company called Nomics. So this company has had, I believe it's about 4 years of experience in the crypto space, and they're dealing with new ways to help improve meta life. There was actually a sneak peek dropped in the Discord about what some of that looked like, and it was completely different than what I meant. Because you know me, I'm an accountant, so I'm just thinking money, money, money. But then when you're talking tokenomics, they're showing spreadsheets of how the flow of it's going to work, how things interact, and it's fun. It's exciting. It's cool just to see the other side of what it is instead of assuming and wondering. I mean, I could probably go and do research, but it probably would be it probably wouldn't be the same as being shown from these actual professionals. So it's cool that we're really working towards creating that fun ecosystem with the 2 different coins. We're going to have 2 different coins, the DAO token and the other token as well, which are going to be crypto coins. Lots of excitement there. Can't wait to see how it's going to be applied to the actual MetaLife metaverse. And yeah, so just some of the timelines. March. It's crazy to believe, but that is next month. And what's going on next month? Well, March 7th is when we are going to be dropping into the LZ, the Legends Zone. So what is the Legend Zone? It is a place for the true believers of the project. And how can we define these true believers? I'm talking, they are not willing to let go of their legends for under 1 ETH. You know, that is the threshold. You have to hold on to your legends or sell them above 1 ETH in order to get into the Legend Zone. And what's this going to be? I mean, what's it going to be like? So the Bored Ape Yacht Club has something that they do for this. It's kind of like a club room on their website. We'll be able to enter into this space, and there's going to be different activities that we can actually interact with inside of it. For example, one of them is going to be like art, drawing, painting, whatever. But the cool thing about it is it's not just going to be reflected in this Legend Zone on the website. This is still stuff that we can take over and implement into the meta life, or the metaverse. So exciting stuff to be able to have kind of an impact on how some of the things are going to be shown, or whether you put some pieces of art, sculptures, who knows, wherever throughout the metaverse. It's going to be fun. There's also going to be exclusive discussions about other topics. You know, the excitement about this is lots of projects are picking up alpha groups, which are like investing or hardcore, a little bit more hardcore investing groups that look out at other projects of investing and see about different opportunities in the digital asset space. So that would be a fun thing to also be incorporated, and much more. This is, like I said, this is just, we're implementing it. We have a couple of activities surrounding it, but always be thinking about what more can we provide and bring to it, because there's always opportunity in that space, and it's going to be fun. So make sure you're all dropping into the LZ coming here in March. This is exciting, super exciting. And what else we got? So at the end of March, early April, we're going to be dropping the Meta Connect app. Woo! That's about 2 months away. Because not even. It's about less than 2 months away. Because we're already halfway through this month almost. But what is this MetaConnect? It's a NFT focused social media app. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a LinkedIn. It's going to be like a Twitter. It's going to be a very new professional business, entrepreneurial kind of space. Just a new creative space because it's going to have additional layers of verification. So with these additional layers of verification, it's going to make it a little bit more exclusive to some of the things that you're able to interact with. For example, like if you own a legend and I'm here in Chicago, let's just say I know a lot of my friends are out there in the LA area. They have a business. I have a business. We figure out a way to collaborate, and we can see this through our connecting app, the MetaConnect. And maybe we see another legend out in another area around the world, let's just say in France, and we want to incorporate them into this new process, this new business, this new investment group, whatever that we want to create from it. That's the beauty of it, is your mind is the limit. Whatever you can imagine to apply into what you can pull from this app is going to be great. And there's going to be so many cool opportunities for other projects to actually get into this app as well. That's going to be something that happens, as we progress. But having these new types of interactions between the projects and on the social media kind of site for the NFTs, it's kind of pioneering. It's a new thing. I know that there's the Twitters and the YouTubes and the Instagrams, and you're like, what do you mean? Those are all the social medias. This is a different kind of a social media platform it's going to be hot soon. And I'm just telling you here, Meta Legends, end of March, early April, they are launching their first version of it. It's going to be great. And if it's not what you expect, it's going to become great over time, because all things take time to develop and learn. But I'm so confident in what is happening. It is super excited. And I know that all the opportunities that are going to be coming with it are incredible. So make sure you're staying tuned for more info about that. And what else do we got? No, I think that just about covers it for just about 30 minutes in, just about covers all the announcements, the AMA notes. People, there's crazy things happening in this space. There's so many cool things going on, so many interesting people. It's a great time to be a legend. If you read the rules in the Discord, I think it's like rule number 10. It's be proud, be able to tell your grandma you're proud to be a legend. And so every time I reference the rules, I always add that little bit at the end to see if anybody catches on, because I'm like, did anybody really read all the rules? Because I can't be the only one to think that's funny. Oh, but anyway, as I digress, let's hop into this interview. So I'm going to take some time here. We're going to welcome on up ZeusKitty. Hello, ZeusKitty.
What's up, Rose? What's up?
How are we doing today?
I'm good.
It's
How
good
are
to
you?
hear. So why don't you tell the community a little bit about yourself if they haven't heard you talking throughout the voice chat already?
Yeah. So a little bit about myself. Fun fact: I graduated studying Oriental medicine, and
Ooh.
didn't really get to practice it that much since COVID. Kind of retired from that. I used to be in events and or organizing events, fashion shows to pageants,
Oh.
press conferences, and then uh, since COVID, just kind of been like staying at home, just day trading crypto and mining crypto.
Cool. So, I mean, that is a broad,
It's,
you definitely got your experience spread out here. So, I mean, you went from, let me just map this out for it. You were doing the medicine on the one side, and then you're organizing events, fashion, beauty pet on the other, and then you're like, all right, screw this, I'm gonna go into the crypto space.
there's actually a long story behind that, but I guess we could really
No,
quickly
tell
do
us
that.
about it. We love to hear people's journey at how they arrived
Yeah.
at
Um,
at cryptocurrencies and the blockchain and web. Oh, and I
yeah,
see your feline behind you.
yeah, it's my cat.
But yeah, tell us.
Um, well, pretty much that story of how I transitioned was how I got into the crypto space. Like, so after getting to school, like, hopping on into like being young and being passionate and like, going out there into the space, trying something that, that's new ultimately, and I've never done before, but somehow managed to pull it off. Um, organizing events and stuff. Uh, Ended up losing a lot of money in the process, being naive, trusting too easily with the people that I was talking with, and ultimately got screwed over in the end. So we were able to succeed in events, but people ran away with majority of the money that we made, leaving myself actually in debt. So waking up one day, like, being desperate, scouring the internet for a means to financially save myself. I ended up, I ended up running into Bitcoin. That was back in 2014. So at that time, I think it was priced at $500.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
it's crazy to hear that, everybody arrives at this in a different sense. And, it sucks that people crossed you like they did and they put you in a position that you did. But it's incredible to see your ability to kind of turn that around. And it also, and would you say that it kind of started with this?
no, in a way, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here. I'd probably still be grinding out there, like, doing what everybody does, like, a 9 to 5 job, and like, probably hating the job that you're doing, and like, not really having the time to do what you love to do. And so in a way, I'm very thankful. It made me, like, a lot stronger. I came out a lot stronger from it, although it was like, it was rough. It was
Oh,
definitely
I believe it. I mean, you trust people, and then you got a business. You're doing something. And when you're doing a business, it's not just to go out there and make money; it's to support yourself. And when people take that support away from you because of their actions or something, then I definitely understand it being tough. So I love to hear this kind of a story because, like I said, everybody has a different way that they got into it. So, you know, that's how you got into the whole space. So, what does your journey look like since then?
my journey. My first purchase in Bitcoin, I bought 1 Bitcoin, okay, from this guy who talked me into it. I met a guy. I was like looking for a guy I could get Bitcoin from, and this guy ran away with my money too. So it's like one unfortunate enough after another,
Well,
right?
yeah.
So you thought
Oh,
like that was the end of it, right? So like that's kind of like the funny part is that like I started my crypto journey in debt, then getting scammed, and
oh,
then from there, that's when the good news started. Is like I realized, look, like I gotta stop relying on people, and I gotta do my own research and really do it myself, because I kind of grew up with that. I was just so used to getting other people to do stuff for me, like, hey, like, I just tell them what to do, and they do it, like, here's the money, kind of thing. And I think that's also a lot of the mistakes on most people, like, have, like, even on a financial standpoint, is that we entrust a lot of our money with people that we really don't know, so casually. And ultimately, like, the responsibility, like, in terms of the responsibility of holding and being accountable for your money, is really about managing your own custody. And, like, even, like, so, like, the flip and knowledge that was given to me, like, from the banking standpoint, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. So you really gotta do a lot of steps in order to relearn. So
Oh,
my
yeah.
journey overall with the crypto space has been trial by fire. You get burnt left and right. So, like, I had to go through it the hard way, and it wasn't easy, yo. Like, it wasn't easy. Like, with the
It
first,
doesn't sound like it started out very easy for you. It's like
like,
your resilience or your perseverance is undeniable here.
no, but the thing was, what really sold me was the idea of what it was. So, like, I was really sold on the technology aspect of it, and just keeping up with the news of seeing something. But then at the same time, I kind of questioned my sanity, because everybody would ask you, like, bro, what you into? Like, you're like a I was like borderline conspiracy theorist kind of. You tell them all about it. You get really excited about something. You want to tell them, like,
I do it now. I try to do it to my sister at Christmas. I try to do it to my father. They still look at me like, all right, I'll believe it when I see it. It's just
yeah,
like I feel that way now. And you were doing this years before.
don't give up on your dad. My dad finally turned around after 5 years. So
Like I said, your persistence is undeniable.
it's hilarious. It's just, to be honest, like, in hindsight, when you look back at it, like, it's really,
Oh
really.
yeah, no, I know the emotions and the grind that you put into it. It's like I'm trying to be serious, I'm trying to be civil with you, but you're making me beat this information
No, it's
into you.
okay, man. It's okay. It's okay. And the funny thing about it too is that, you go through the whole thing. So you have the situation where, like, first time I was like, Bitcoin, like 500. I was like, why is it so damn expensive? Like, who would pay for such a thing? Like, that was like one logic. I was like, okay, I buy one, right? And, like, guy runs away with it. I buy another one, and then I didn't tell my wife that time that I lost the first one, and then it doubled to like $1,000. I was like, hey, it's like, not bad. I was like, I sold it, and then kept going up, bought back in, and then convincing my wife to put in our only remaining shred of savings, okay, into it, was like, just like, no, no. I was like, all right. It was like, just half. I was like, it's like, okay. I was like, I'll take half if I go broke. Okay, you could leave me with the other half.
Oh my goodness. God bless,
So
God bless your wife.
I know. To this day, like, and to be honest, like, she spoke with me actually just earlier this year, right? Like, and she said, she admitted for the first time, like, to be honest, I thought you were crazy. Like, I was like, I know. And, like, the craziness of what it was, like, me passionately talking with everybody, like, all my friends and all her, what do you call it, um all her family members. Man, I was trying to convince her mom, and they were looking at me as if I was trying to explain rocket science. It was just like way too alien at that time for most people to understand the concept of peer-to-peer transactions without the use of a bank, and, like, like a digital currency that
I know.
ultimately, like, can cross border. I was saying, like, hey, I was able to transfer over $10,000, like, over the border. I walked through like, the US with more than $10,000, and I didn't get like, anally probe their search for it. Like, so kind of like it's one of those like amazing things, and like, you don't know. But that didn't come along with like a lot of security, because as I was keeping up with the news, there was also a lot of FUD going around during that time. But the nice thing back then, there weren't really that much YouTubers or like, proliferation of like so-called crypto experts in the space. So it was a lot easier to find content that were actually real. So that's actually one of the difficulties for most people in the crypto space now, is finding somebody you could actually listen to that makes sense and can walk you through it. Like, back then we were taught very, very simple on how to do your research, what to look for in the white paper, what to spot. Like most people now, they just like, think like, tokens come out, and like they don't really understand the security protocols or the consensus on what actually takes place behind it. And really, that's where I was really more drawn into, just more on the technical side and understanding on the levels of security of what happens between A and B.
Mhm.
Okay, and also what the token provides, because understanding the code in the crypto space is like understanding the law. It's like people think like it's a financial, and that it's something that's freedom, but it's something that enables freedom, to be honest. But like the crypto space is actually translated into something more political than actually democratic, because a blockchain doesn't allow you to do anything you want. It only allows you to do what it wants. So in a way, that makes it a very political tool. All right, okay. Going to that point, when you say like political, it has its sense of rules and boundaries. Like
Understood. Yeah.
technology wise, you put it on A and put it on B, and a lot of people don't realize is that the transition of how old the science is actually dates back to World War II. It didn't just come out like back in 2008. There was an entire history that took place before this all happened, and those were the things that really interest me. I love history, so I like dug deep on how far this dates back, and it brings you back to the very first form of private encryption, back in World War II, called the Enigma Machine.
Wow.
Okay.
This is deep. I guarantee, for me, I mean, this is stuff I'm still everything the further you go back, the more I learn. and I guarantee a lot of the people that are listening to, they don't know these things as well. So this is all
Yeah,
fascinating. So keep
it's
going. Tell us.
it's
Yeah.
it's really cool, because like if you go back and date into history, you get to appreciate where it really comes from, right? So just to give you what the whole science is of cryptography. Cryptography is really this is the art of communication when enemies are listening. It's to prevent the manipulation of information, and also the interception of information. So that's what it was. And then Enigma Machine was actually very simple. It was like a typewriter. It was an encoder wherein you could type, okay, your letter or your message. And what it does, it swaps out the letters. And the only person that could read the message was the person who had the keys on the other side to the machine. Meaning to say, an L was an O, and then an M was an E, and then I is like a J, and then so it's just gibberish on the end of the day. And then when it goes to the other guy, he has the keys, and then he just like decodes it accordingly, and they get the message. That was how they got messages through back in the day. So in case it does get intercepted, only the person with the keys can understand it. And that was like the very, very like caveman version,
Yeah.
public, and private keys, and that's what it was. And interestingly enough, is that you could adjust the Enigma key so that it changes the keys, and you pass the keys to someone who you want to read it to. Moving forward, once things got a little bit more high tech from World War II, and then the invention of the telephone, the cell phone, and the internet. The people who study this particular science transitioned into the academia. Um, and Back in the 1990s, a group called Cypherpunk, you could actually look them up. Cypherpunk Mail was actually put together for this particular um, reason. They're referred to as our freedom fighters. So they are actually our technological heroes. The reason why you have privacy and privacy keys, that prevents government from overreaching to what you're actually talking about, is actually thanks to the Cypherpunk group. They were a group of volunteers internationally, cryptographers that understood that in order to uh, retain freedom of speech and like liberty, to protect it from overreaching governments, that they had to establish means and ways for people to protect themselves from listening ears of the government.
It's
So
kind of
that's what
crazy. It's kind of
that
crazy,
that's
how things work together and build over time, and
yeah,
how
it built.
even just one force coming in and changing something, it's crazy to see how things develop. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, the development of the internet went through transitions,
Mhm.
and the fascinating part about it is, like, before it was merely a informational evolution wherein the internet wiped out encyclopedias and libraries. It took over, right? But with the speed of the internet was a newfound speed of transfer of information, like a
Mhm.
message that be delivered cross border that could change somebody's life. Because back then, in order to trade in terms of business, like with any trader, from the stocks to any person who wants information, is power, and the speed of which you can get that information
Yep.
dictates whether you make it before the pump of prices. And most people get their information on the newspaper back then, and information was available via through snail mail,
Yeah.
which is hella slow today. you
Old
know
for us, but to them it was,
it was fast
it
for
was
them.
futuristic, it was foreign, it was, what is this?
It was like a call was what they were really relying on at that time. But the thing was, a call, if you weren't at home, like, hey, try again later. It's like, is you either call the home or you call the office. And like, the advancement of where how far we've gotten is ultimately very interesting. But going back to the cypherpunk mail, this was the mailing server that Satoshi Nakamoto put his published white paper. That's where it was put in. And the people that implemented it were not like some random guys on the internet that decided to run this. These were people that have been looking for solutions to the double spending problem, on how to come up with a digital peerless cash system that allows people to transact cross border without the use of an intermediary. So, like, which is kind of like I don't know, like, there's a lot of like theories on who Satoshi is, and things like that, where he came from. But ultimately, he did kind of showcase in his open source code that allowed people to assimilate. So there were participants, a reward system, and these this group was the very first group that established it, right? And then they started running their codes as an experiment, whether this was going to work or not. And then, yeah, the first transaction when the Papa John's pizza happened for 30,000 bitcoins, and and we are today where we are simply because of a sequential blockchain, like, advancement,
Yeah.
but up to date, compared to all the other tokens out there, Bitcoin still remains um, the most open source, non-controlled blockchain out there. And And it's funny because every other token that's out there is actually run by either a personality or it's run by a group that's a team that's deciding on the direction of the blockchain. Unlike Bitcoin, it's an open source code and the community decides where it goes. And it's somehow managed to, survive through the ages and retaining its ultimate goal and proof and only increasing in security measure as more participants
And
actually
that's an
grow.
important part, when you have these directional coins,
Mm.
sometimes there can be that personality, like some of the the larger celebrities, they'll, if they say something about a coin, it could cause it to jump or crash or whatnot.
No, yeah, that's one thing. And another thing about it, though, is that, there's no personality really behind Bitcoin, except it's who is it owned by? It's actually owned by the people that's using it. And it's owned by the participants who are being rewarded, the miners, the developers, and they're run by mostly volunteers, so in a way what they're trying to prevent and what they're trying to do is lessen the grip and the hold of, not saying like it's meant for use like, anti-regulatory, but what it is like it allows actual true freedom in terms of being able to hold custody over your own value and not having it in a place wherein somebody can actually just freeze your assets. And
Yeah.
and that's one of the main things why I actually got into cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is that in times of uncertainty, when, who knows, like your state goes into war, your country goes into war, and you don't have time to pull out your funds from the bank, or they won't allow you, or your currency drops to zero. You walk through the border with your private keys and your Bitcoin wallet, and you have your entire savings or your fortune intact, and you could establish yourself up comfortably elsewhere without having to become a refugee.
It
Like,
is it is kind of, I haven't had personally, I haven't thought of it from that perspective. And so, uh, God forbid if if a war does break out. I mean, that's a very interesting perspective to approach it at.
mm.
So these are very cool things, and I know you were talking about the mining aspect. Do you have any perspective to share about that?
The mining perspective, I mean, like, I actually just hopped into like Ethereum mining just just last year. I have a friend who's an electrical engineer, and he was talking to me about it. So I said, "Hey, let's do it. Let's give it a try." And like being a miner or participation in the mining just kind of like increases the security level of whatever blockchain you're actually participating in. And that's since I'm already heavily invested in crypto, I decided, hey, why not mining? It seems like a great way. He has he runs a lot of solar panels, so there's renewable energy that we're using, and then we set up a warehouse. I don't know if you've seen the videos I actually shared
Yeah,
and
no, I
posted.
saw it. There was you appeared to have quite a few rigs set up right now, and more to come.
Yeah. So I mean, like we're running a couple of giga hashes, and that makes about like like 2, 3, 4 Ethereum, like around that. Because I only get like the profit after the operation. So
Yes.
like yeah. But on a clean, yeah, we make around like 2 to 3 ETH clean after operational expense. And it's okay. Like, if people want to do it though, I suggest like, and like with anything, it's always like really putting the work in. I mean, crypto and any side of crypto is not a free ride. It's actually a lot of keeping up with the market. So people think it's easy money. You put in like, a couple of $1,000s into something that's hyped up, and then you think it's gonna moonshot. into like, Bitcoin prices,
And
like
then 2 days
10x,
later, people are
100x.
upset.
Yeah, and they get very upset when it doesn't happen. And it's to no surprise is that, with anything that's really hyped up, you actually attract a lot of the attention of people who like to take advantage of you as well. So
Yes.
out there in the space, whatever is the fad, back in the days, in crypto days, like, I only knew three tokens back then. We only had Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin.
Yep, I,
Like,
I remember.
that was the
I
only thing
remember
that
it
I
on
had to
the.
keep up with. And then after the birth of XRP, like, and the ICO boom, there were like now 1,000 tokens that were being published out there. And a lot of the ICOs, like, close to 90% of them died. So going back to my story though, like, I rode Bitcoin from $500, like, $800, and then like rode it all the way to 16,000 at the high of like 20,000. So I sold like half of it at 16,000, and then it crashed back down to 10,000, and I sold the rest of it. So like that was like a shot of coming from like $500, like my $5,000 hitting close to over $100,000, like in portfolio value. I spread it to multiple like cryptocurrencies left and right, ICOs.
Hey,
Mind you, not
diversify. That's it.
90% of them got wiped out. Only about one or two of them like left. One of them is like Chili's, the sports token on the Ethereum platform. I got in on a pre-sale on that one, and if you don't understand the utility, like you have to understand, like, crypto is like so early in its stages that sometimes like the market could seem dead for over like a year and a half or 2 years. Nothing happened to Chili's after. It's like I bought into it. It's like nothing's happening. Like, it launched and it's like bam, like all the investors dumped their tokens, and I was like, okay, just hold on to this. And then, like, as of last year, like, it moonshot like 50x. All right, so at least like helped me recover all the other losses that I had, and gave me more. So, like, in a way, like, the patience does pay off. If you don't know the utility, then you're not going to be able to pick up off of that one. And a lot of the tokens are actually supposed to be designed to have a case use. A case use is about being able to solve a real world problem. If your token doesn't solve a real world problem, or it doesn't have a use, it's useless. In other words, it's just mere speculation on the end of the day. And this is kind of where you see the developers, the roadmaps, the white paper. The white paper is like the roadmap of of any token. So kind of like in NFTs, you check out the roadmap, but a white paper is actually more specific. The white paper has its mechanics on how it's actually going to be, sold, insurance to rewards to whatever protocols that they're going to use, the safety protocol. So that's where you'd find the tokenomics of it. Tokenomics is how a token works. Like, it's kind of like it's blueprint, like blueprint to a house. That's really what it is. And yeah, a
No,
lot
I
of
mean this is all good stuff for people to make these connections
that.
from, because I'm going to call some people out. Sometimes people are a little lazy when it comes to doing their research, and this is providing new perspectives about, hey, you know, you need to look more into the coins or the technology that you're investing into, truly understand it
Mhm.
before you throw everything in it, or before you proceed, because sometimes there's instances where it's going to work out and there's instances where it's not. But then there's also that aspect of the patience. Some people are not patient at all. They aren't seeing those returns instantly. They will hop off and get out. And then there'll be those instances like you just mentioned where, all right, it'll take a year and a half or so. That thing will boom out of here.
And you hopped off right before it boomed, right? So it's kind of like one of those things. And the fun part, that going back into to the journeys of it all, is that, like, when you do your homework, like, and it really working, it's actually work. But the thing is, for me, I love studying the
Oh,
technology behind it and everything. But really, on the end of the day, it's really understanding the risk that you're placing
mm,
yourself into. And with any particular, situation where you're investing in a token, it's always a risk. And then you have to measure your risk based off of what you know about the token, what you know about the developers, what you know about the space. And for me, like, I've gotten to this point wherein, like, okay, like, I've tried all of those, like, new tokens, trying to catch that 100x or 1000x. Okay, but on the end of the day, it's gamble, because until it gets past the initial stages wherein it gets accepted into an exchange and has a history of price, it's very prone to pumps, to dumps.
yeah.
And there's like, manipulation by whale holders that can, really assimilate. But those are the things that you can actually spot if you know where to look. Like, you could tell if a token is being held by one particular wallet or multiple wallets, or if the token has the ability to print more of its tokens or not, or does it have a burn mechanism, or, like, those kind of things. And
And
those
you
and that's
find that through with a white paper or
you find that through the ether scan, especially. So, like, the contracts are actually available online, readily available. If you know where to look, you could actually audit and track how a lot of these transactions are being held, or whether they are being true to their tokenomics. So, like, like, some people claim that, oh yeah, like, I mean, I've encountered some play to earn games that claim to burn, and then I check their ether scan. They're just generating random tokens, and they're just dumping it into this wallet. So, mean to say, the tokens are constantly being printed when people purchase the bundle inside the app, and then, like, they dump it into a wallet. And I said, okay, that's kind of like, it doesn't, match. So I usually stay away from things like that. Like, when they're not doing what they know, like, they say that they claim that they're doing, but if you know where to look, you could spot them when they're lying.
and that's kind of crazy to be able to witness that, because I mean, in order to do that right now, there's ways to do that in a financial perspective of looking at companies. You're looking at their liquidity, their ratios, all these different things. You can get an understanding of how their management is handling things, or how they're interpreting and pursuing different opportunities. Like handling, you said, risk. So it's awesome for me, at least, because I love this kind of financial understanding and tech know-how, to actually be able to go and look at that. My day job is, I'm an accountant. I'm a corporate accountant. So, the 10Ks, the 10Qs, the quarterlies, but the financial,
The
that's
taxes.
that's where I'm reading. That's my books. Those are my stories. That's where I go and interpret, and I learn a lot. And so, being able to provide this kind of a perspective and maybe a learning opportunity for people
Yeah.
to go and actually analyze these things will bring more awareness to understanding the health of a lot of these coins and their actual uses. So it's, for me, like I said, I'll nerd out about this stuff all day long.
So people really get distracted with the tokens, but they kind of fail to understand the underlying programming behind it, because that's really where everything is. So, like, when you understand how a token behaves, what makes it tick, what makes it structure, you can kind of, like, start looking into a lot of tokens, and you'll understand which would work. But fundamentally speaking, if you want to relate it to real world, I mean, like, I've encountered, like, projects that's claiming, hey, they're gonna go, like, blockchain medical, or hey, they're gonna do, like, social media on the blockchain. But do you understand the implications of what a social media blockchain would do? It means to say that when you post something, you'll never be able to delete it, because it's on the blockchain and it's forever there. So, is that really something that you want to use, like a blockchain, or is it just mere hype? Like, you're just hyping it, that you're just writing on this, but on the, I mean, it seems like an overkill. like,
Yeah,
and
well,
there's control aspects to it on like, I mean,
there are,
basically,
so you gotta, yes, you gotta understand the opportunity and the conflict that comes with those opportunities. So when you are, the blockchain itself is a whole new world that's still being discovered and developed on and understood by companies all, but there's also risk to it, like we've mentioned before. With these new opportunities comes other risk as well, where people are going to be taken advantage of, or having stuff out there. It's just like the internet. When you post something on the internet, it's out there on the internet. So hopefully people have started to learn this by now. That, when you put stuff out there, you can't necessarily take it back. So the point of it is, I believe, to just provide a new channel and a new focus for those communications to be provided through.
Definitely. But yeah, going to that was my crypto journey.
Hey, that's it's a longer journey than mine, and from a journey that's had so many bumps and bruises. That was going to be one of my other questions. Hey, what was one of the biggest setbacks that you ever experienced? So, were there any other setbacks through your journey that you had that you were like, we're not anticipating, or that you'd like to help educate others on?
Well, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's one of those situations where, like, losing money, like, is really part of the journey. There's always going to be people that's trying to hack you, people trying to scam you, people just trying to trick you into trusting them, and things like that. And like, there are situations that's really unavoidable, that you really have to place some level form of trust, and allowing someone something. My most recent one was, I was actually setting up a mining farm, an additional mining farm with a friend that I knew, and that was a big setback. It's actually just last month. I gave him close to like $40,000 for the equipment, and he leverage traded and lost it.
Oh. Oh man!
So it's like one of those things. I was like, bro, you're not even a trader.
It's like, what were you doing?
I mean, like, there are instances like that. I mean, like,
no, you know what I call those? That's what I call tuition. You're paying your tuition because hopefully you're going to learn from it.
One hell of an expensive tuition. It's one of those things I shouldn't have made a mistake of. Like, but then again, like, formula of getting scammed, like, on the end of the day, is actually you placing your trust in someone, expecting them to deliver something, and, like, it's relying solely on them completing the task. And really, like, formula for it is trust and not knowing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And expecting that they're going to be the ones to do it. And
expecting them to do the job for you. Yep, totally.
Yeah. NFT wise, like, me getting into Meta Legends.
Tell us how you got into Meta Legends. You've had this whole experience. So how did you move over into the NFT space, and how did you get involved into Meta Legends?
NFTs were something I really didn't understand. Like, what was the fad? Why were people spending that much ETH on something like that? So I kind of prepared myself. Okay, let's get a bunch of ETH, and then let's go shopping, and let's see what this is all about. So that's one of the best ways to really, figure out how this space works. Is you have to experience it for yourself, because you probably are going to get burned in the process. So my investments into the crypto space, like in the NFT space, let's say, like, it's been one hefty bill so far, and a lot of it is just kind of like, some are dead, some projects are like rugs, and a lot of them actually are. It's all about, like, marketing hype, and But for me, the technology on NFT itself, like, I've come to realize and learn is that there is really a lot more to it. So the technology of NFT is to stay, but the way it's currently being used and sold as and pushed forward as the moment is not how NFTs are supposed to be designed. That's so far my personal learning onto it. So, like, if you look back into historically speaking on who made money from the NFT space, is it's flippers, people who flip. So they buy in whitelist, they sell double, sell triple, and that's how they've made money. And majority of the people who are holders so far, um, because there's really a lot of whitewashing that goes on in the market and stuff like that. Like, sorry to say it, but some of these hyped up tokens, when you track the wallets, the sales back and forth, you check out the activity, it's whitewashing in a sense, and they're using it in a way as like a form of like advertising, like they spend on a billboard, right? So it's just to keep themselves ranked up, and
Yeah.
eventually they come up with a brand. But yeah, I ran into Meta Legends. I think a bot sent me an invite of some sort. I was in the server and I didn't know how to turn off the toggle on the allow direct messages yet. Like, and I think it was one of those, or somebody from one of the channels told me to check it out. I forget. It's like one of those projects that died. Anyways, it led me to Meta Legends. Actually, Meta Legends is the second project I hopped on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I assume you were pretty happy with the. Did you get involved into the mint or?
No, I actually came in when it was already being sold on OpenSea.
And yet
So
you were still able to pick up a pretty nice burner.
okay, there's the actually I said like I'll only buy until Roboter. Like that was I said like yeah, let me get one of each, and I was checking out the price of the burners at that time. I was like, oh man, it's like too much, way too much. And then like I picked up a Roboter. Actually, I wasn't planning to, but it was at a really nice price at that time. Sold for like 3.5 ETH, and Roboters that time were like being sold for like 8. And so I was like, all right. I was like, let's get this one. And I said that was the last one. And then when the market crashed and some people needed liquidity, I saw the Dead Boy burner go up. And yeah, I was like, okay. So I had to do my computation. It was around the same price that I got my Roboter for, like because at the time, like my Roboter was like around like 10,000 or like $12,000 at that time when I bought it. Um, my my burner though, like the Dead Boy, it's not that one.
Oh shoot! Is it the other one? It's the what? It's the black masked one. Sorry.
Yeah. It's number 3405 or 3505.
3405.
Yeah, I think.
Ooh, that's a good one too. I'm pulling it
So
up.
yeah, so I picked him up, and I was like, I've been messaging and manifesting it for the longest time. I like big shout out to Matt, Lakshmi, and JP, and a bunch of the burner boys. I see them like flexing their burners, and I'm like, you know what? Like I'm gonna get one. Like if one goes up, like and it's within my reach, where I'm gonna get one. And then so during the time that ETH was around like a 2.4, and like a burner was listed, I had 2 days to decide because the listing was so short. So like yeah, I just picked it up for like it was like 6 ETH at that time.
And that's
Cost me.
pretty good. There's a lot of people that are, not there's only 33 burners. Matt Burner has 3 of them, and the floor is starting to rise.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the thing is, a lot of us aren't really willing to part with our burners. It kind of like I'm growing very attached to my burner, and what really drew me to Meta Legends was actually the lore. You know,
Ooh.
yeah, okay, yeah. I'm actually an avid reader, and yeah, that's my burner baby right there.
Ooh, I love it. The eyes are cool. Ooh.
Yeah, it's like Deadpool. Yeah, what they
It's
call it,
so
Deadpool.
cool.
So, anyways, I also saw the draft on that one. It's actually pretty sick.
Oh, for the armor?
Yeah. Wait,
Oh, yes.
uh,
I think, you know,
the armor came out and it
yeah,
was
I
nice.
mean, there's just been some heat dropped today in the Discord related to all the armors. So this stuff is crazy. And when they keep saying that they're getting closer to being done with the, ooh, I think I found it actually. Is it this one? Ooh. Oh,
Oh,
there it
there
is.
it is. There it is. There it is.
Oh my goodness, Roman. If you guys remember, we had Roman up here a week or a couple weeks ago to talk about the art and the team he is doing, killing it. They are killing it. These things are so cool.
Big
I
shout
mean,
out to Max Legend. I was
yes.
like, love
I
your
mean,
work.
when we
Keep it
go
up.
from just seeing this top part of the legend and then actually getting that full blowout of the entire body and what that's going to look like, just from the concept art, they're making the 3D models starting at the end of the month, probably. So it's just, it's going to be so cool when we start to see the 3D versions of these.
Yeah. So I mean, like it's pretty cool. So that's Legends. I mean, like I don't know if I'll be able to complete the seven. Like, hey, we'll never know.
Yeah, because there are, I can imagine that the Celestials are going to be pretty stingy.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna make it very easy for me to complete my set. Um,
Got
so yeah,
sometimes it's hard to get every single one of them, and I know, but there are some people that are out pursuing that, and I wish you luck in it. Have you gone after the honorary, or are you looking to do
actually,
that?
that's my next step. So I'm looking into getting the honorary. Um,
Ooh.
I might be sweeping floors like next month before the honorary like promo expires. So I'll see. I'll have to set a budget for that,
Hey,
and
it's
then
all right. I mean, it's still it's a pretty cool idea to have,
mhm.
and especially with the stuff that's going to go on in the meta life and being able to rep that in the meta life, having that distinct whatever that you decide the concept to be, it's definitely going to be fun.
It's fun. It's fun. Yeah, Meta Legends. Like I saw the white paper. I saw um, the developers. They were doxxed, and just the idea of like because what I hated so much with the metaverse aspect was that it was still pixelated. It
Uh-huh.
was still very much.
You
Yeah,
didn't like the sandbox?
like, I'm not referring directly into it. I'm not dissing any I'm just saying it looks like Minecraft
Just
and
in general,
just
just
in
any
general. Like
pixelated one. You want
always,
more of that detail, the high def, the
I'm really like into the high definition, and I'm always reading up on the news, following on technology and its progression, and really the skeletal framework is there, and like I honestly believe if I like I said like I've always been saying like hey if NFT space can figure out a way, or like the metaverse can figure out a way wherein they can create a metaverse that's generated in Unreal Engine, because yeah, I've been a gamer my whole life, and like PlayStation 5 like games like crazy like high
Yep,
definition.
yep. We're all nerds here. We're all nerds here. It's very well. It's well known.
Like it's great, but like it's is going to be like, if I'm ever going to be playing anymore, it's going to be play to earn games. Like I've
Oh,
actually stopped playing like a lot of games. Like just just keeping up with the market, like crypto wise, it's already a lot of work. Charting the market prices is another aspect that's also quite difficult. Um, so, but there is definitely still a lot of learning. Um, so like yeah, there's so much to learn. That's why I'm
there is, and it's still, like I said, each and every day there's new technology being developed on top of it. The technology itself is being worked to see how it can be increased in the efficiency, see what other use cases it could be applied to. I mean, it's still in its infancy. It's still
but
very
what's very exciting is that I don't know if it was announced publicly already that tokenomics might be like might be out soon, right? Like
for
tokenomics
Meta Legends. The not
adoption.
yeah they yeah. If you look in the Discord, there was a sneak peek earlier today that actually showed, like you were talking about, some of the blueprints of.
I can't wait to get my hands on it and take a real good look at it. Like I really want to know how they're gonna pan it out.
I'm excited to see, because I know that they're working to get the staking function and everything put into place and figure out what more they can do to put it into meta life. It's the way that Max and the team has been talking about is their eyes have been opened by having the talks with Nomics and seeing how it can be applied, how it could be scaled, seeing the interactions between the Meta Life, the Meta Connect, the website, the bot, all these different aspects, and seeing how they can be related and connected. It's going to be fascinating. Very, again, like you said, it's going to be all about learning and understanding it, because it's going to be a very new thing for a lot of people that are getting into this project. They don't understand, like for me, the most the most relatable case I could say is old school RuneScape, where you got the GP in there, but it was it's considered like illegal or not good game ethic. I don't know what to call it, where you would do real world trading, like you'd have purchasing into it, and then you can get different GP and then use that in game. But we don't want that kind of an aspect. We want more of a, you have to play it in order to earn it. You have to stake in order to earn
Yeah,
something of that aspect, more so than if you have the money, you can get in and get whatever you want.
yeah. But that does become a very tricky balancing act if
Yes.
let's say for example if your burn rate of the token and your mint rate does not match, it could mean like the prices of it like drop, fluctuation of it spike. When you release a new aspect of the game, like a new patch, it would affect the way like the balance of the tokenomics would be. Not only are you balancing like the power between the seven classes, I assume like but like overall on how the economy would work
Oh,
and
it's
generated bugs are going to be abused by players who's you know how it is, like we like
Oh,
things that
yeah.
that generate a
My
lot.
dad's a CIO of a pretty big company, and so when he asks me some of the questions that he does, I'm like, why do you make me think that I need to start looking more into the security of myself or how I'm even just working on my stuff here? It's the way that a lot of the technology and the information security around this is going to be, and also that connecting of the coin and interaction throughout the entire ecosystem. Yeah, that is an undertaking, but that is why we are working with the Experience Nomics
Mhm.
company to make sure that this is something that we roll out in a smooth and orderly fashion. We always hope, right?
Yeah, like I'm very excited for what's coming up, and you could constantly see the post from the team, Max, on what he's working on, where they are in terms of concepts, and I mean, you could state that not much like heavy marketing, like celebrity marketing, is really needed for something like this, because it speaks for itself. Like, it's a project, and it's going to take some time for them to come up with different steps, and as long as they're releasing it, the way for you to really check if they're actually working on it is the release dates. Like, hey, like, when are the land gonna come out? They're coming out with sneak peeks. I'm so excited with the map, the zone.
They've started to drop some of the, like, even the rough city.
I luckily I was able to catch the last minting on the, what do you call it, on the land, like the 2.5
The 2.5. I know. I missed it. I was
I
originally.
was like, okay, like, I'm gonna get myself something for Christmas: a house, a vehicle, a car, a pet. For me, I was
Oh
like,
yeah, no, I totally understand. I originally, like, I was that way with the first one. I was like, I can't just throw all my money into it right off the bat. I gotta feel this out. And then after like a week of this, I'm like, my goodness, I should have thrown all my money into.
2 months in, I've already spent 15 ETH on.
Yeah. And this is the thing is, I'm nothing but.
And I think I'm
comfortable.
still gonna spend another 5 to 6 just to get my honorary.
Exactly. And the thing is, I'm nothing but comfortable with it. That's the thing, is that the team is able to provide that confidence by delivering, not just delivering in a quick fashion, but delivering with the actual quality, as compared to a lot of other projects that are just trying to rush through things.
One of the great things as well that I did notice is, as far as the community is concerned, is they're actually very willing to help. We come from different backgrounds, and they offer to help out in whatever way that they can. They're surprisingly, a lot of the burners are actually also like crypto before, then into NFT. Then the majority of the people entering the space is NFT, then get into crypto. So kind of like it's very, very different when you have like a solid core of people that kind of understand how the crypto space works. It kind of helps ease like the people fudding, fearing, and like doubting the projects. And I'm not like the type that says like, hey, don't ask questions, and it's definitely important to ask questions. But in the level of comfort that I get from how the developers handles the questions and the support that we get from the community, you have the community itself shutting down FUDs, like in a way which is cool, and they're doing it in a manner that's actually very, very
constructive.
Civil.
It's like
constructive, and
it's
very educational.
Absolutely. We had the incident earlier in the week where there was a Twitter account that was spreading misinformation or trying to FUD, and the community took it upon themselves to go out there and investigate these claims. They went and investigated it. They just needed one connection, which was provided by Max and Robin, and the situation resolved. The Twitter account got taken down because they're reporting false information, and the community showed a sign of just this resilience and strength and unity, and it was incredible to witness this. So I totally agree with you in that point. And it's cool. It's really cool to see these different things coming out of the work. So I see your cat hopping across. What's your cat's name?
This one?
Yeah.
This one's Gabby. This one's Gabby. So she's actually still a kitten. So she's a Bengal cat.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, I love her leopard spots. I was like dropping money in NFTs, and then I saw her, I fell in love with her, and then like I think buying NFTs has somewhat like made me spend a little bit more money than usual. My worldview of how much things cost has been.
I totally
I was like, I paid $1,000 for this cat, and I was like, Hey, sweet deal.
Yeah, I know. I know. We're over here complaining about gas prices being like
I was
$3
like,
or $4 or something compared to like the $2.50 that it was, and I'm talking real petrol gas, the thing that you put in your car, and then you come over here, you're like you're spending a couple of $100 on gas fees on this environment. You're like, it's okay.
it's okay. I'm like, okay, like, hey, I can breed this one. I was like, I'll just sell it. That's like pretty
You're
good
taking it to another level. Now you're applying the NFT logic to
NFT breeding logic onto this one. I was like,
Oh
God.
my goodness, that is too funny. So, hey, this has been a great discussion, and you have a lot of information, and I know that this is not the last time you and I are going to have these kind of discussions, because I know you've spoken to me a little bit before the show about how you want to be a little bit more of that informational and educational aspect to people, so that you can help them understand different aspects that they might be overlooking, or if they're new and they're coming in, what things that they can watch out and avoid. So I just want to say I just wanted to make that clear to everybody and make them know that ZeusKitty is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the blockchain crypto space, the Web3. If you have questions, he would be happy to sit in a voice chat and discuss with a lot of you, and discuss with us as well. And just as he's doing it up here, he does it on his own normally. He's over in there in the voice chat just talking about it, educating people, or just going through what's happening that day in the crypto space that he's involved with. So it's great, and we appreciate you having these kind of perspectives and this knowledge that you're even willing to provide to everybody. So big shout out to you, and thanks for coming up here onto the show and providing all of your information.
Thanks for the invite. I'm definitely like happy to help the community out, because like I wish there was somebody that told me like what to do. Like not really tell me what to do, but more of give me the information that I might have missed out. So like that would really help, because I mean, going over some of the basics on how to do your research, what to look for, and like just some of these informations. Like I'm not the type that would spoon feed, hey, like buy this, buy that.
Yeah, no, you're just like, this is what these are the lessons I learned. I just want
Yeah,
you to be aware.
that's really more of like what I love sharing, and it just hurts to see like people go through the same mistakes that I did. So I mean, like if they're in the community, we're all legends, and if we're all gonna make it, like it, hey, like the success of our community is the success of the project as well. The
Absolutely.
success of the project is the success of the community. So if you have a community of people that's at least growing, like just as much as our what do you call this, our the team like behind Meta Legends is growing, I feel like the community growth can actually also happen in terms of us learning more about the crypto space and understanding
Absolutely.
it, so that you can kind of have like this core magnetic group wherein we can learn from one another, sharing information, and like improve ourselves in a way that we can actually lessen our mistakes, and also grow financially from
And it just provides confidence into people. When you're actually familiar with these things, you're a little bit more confident in the actions that you will execute when you're dealing with them. So being more knowledgeable, or having that education behind, really provides that understanding of how you need to approach some of these situations. Because like you said, nobody likes to get burned. Nobody likes to lose money. Nobody likes bad business. So
happens though. Like
it happens.
it
Sometimes
really
you
part
can't
of the
control it, but
process.
if there's ways to mitigate it,
Yeah,
there's
definitely.
always ways to reduce it. And you have had a lot of experience with that, and you want to help other people in that aspect. So we appreciate that. And like I said, thank you again for coming up here. This has been, for me, I love this kind of discussion and talks, and I can't wait to have more of them with you in the Discord. So is there anything else that you want to leave the community with as a final comment?
No, not really. Just yeah. When I'm on Discord, just hit me up or something. Feel free to ask if you have anything like you want to learn. Like I do put up. I yeah. I wouldn't mind like sharing what I know and teaching like basics into it.
Hey, no, again, thank you so much, ZeusKitty. We appreciate the time that you took to come up here, and also we appreciate your willingness to work with the community to grow it, to help build it and educate it. So thank you so much for all that you're doing and all that we know you will be doing. So thank you. Thank you for coming up here.
Having me. Thanks for having
Hey,
me.
absolutely. Take it easy now. We'll talk later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ooh. Ooh. It's time to kick it back in the lounge now. So, well, we got little man back here. Here, why don't you head back over there for just a couple more minutes, dude? That's my little legend right there. So, hey, did you not hear that? I mean, getting walked all the way through the history of how a lot of this technology has developed and formed over time, the different interactions and how we're seeing the stuff that we're seeing today. It came from somewhere. And just having that perspective of understanding how far it really is able to be traced back it's cool. It makes me want to go do more research. It makes me want to look into things more and understand it, because as he was saying, there's different things to analyze and understand. You can get into the actual flow of the cryptocurrencies and analyze that to see, is it really performing how it was intended to be performing? Is it being used how it should be used? And you're able to actually go and dive into some of those things if you have that understanding, that knowledge. So great conversation, lots of cool things to learn, lots of cool things to go and look to learn. And just a fun perspective, I totally understand the dings throughout the process. There's a lot of projects out there, especially in the NFT space, where there's rug pulls, or even if you're looking into a coin that you're like, oh, this one's going to be the one that 50x's, 100x's. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. And understanding, all right, how can I better understand these situations to avoid going forward? Or how can I mitigate my risk moving along throughout these kind of investments in this journey? Those are all valuable things to have and to know when you are here in the Web3 space. It's in its infancy still. Like, it's been around. The concepts of it have been around for a long time, but it's still such a new form of it and how it's being developed and used out in the world today. So if that doesn't tell you to go and start doing some research, come hop into the Discord. We've got conversations like this happening all the time. We want to inform people. We want to keep people updated, and we want to learn as much as you do. There's always information that other people know that maybe we don't have. And by just initiating some of these conversations, that's how we're able to, pull this collective understanding together and really create some of those innovations or further understandings of how to utilize it. So, like I said, I'm kind of nerding out about it because I like learning this kind of stuff, and it's fun. It's totally fun. But you know what? I think it's about that time. I know I know a lot of you holders have been waiting for this because, and this is the last clue for the treasure hunt. I'm going to drop it in here, and then I will also drop it into the Legends Discord shortly after. So here it is. The final clue is... That's the final clue. I would love to try to solve this for you, but I'm going to be honest that I don't know what this one means. So, Legends, good luck with this one. I know somebody's going to figure it out and win that prize. Make sure you're following all the instructions. They're in the Discord. Go and submit it. Get your answers in. Have fun with it. This is not the last one. There are more treasure hunts that are going to be happening and throughout the rest of this month. Have fun with it. Figure it out. Good luck with that. So let's wrap this up. You know, we had a lot of great talks about the progress of the project throughout, you know, the past week. And there are so many cool things going on. We got the MetaConnect app to look forward to. We also have the LZ, the Legend Zone, that's going to be included in the website. We got the marketplace. We have the AAA trailer by Antononi Studios. There's so many cool things coming at us. Just need to be patient. And it's not even that long of a time. I mean, in the next couple of months, there are going to be some incredible developments happening here. So, Legends, if you got any questions, come hop into the Discord, ask around. And as I said, you know, even if you are new to this whole experience, our community is very welcoming and very knowledgeable. We want to share this information with you. We want to help educate others about the opportunities that the space offers. And there's so many within the Meta Legends project. So I'll see you all in the Discord. Thank you so much for tuning in to Meta Legends Live. Make sure you go out and follow us on YouTube, or, you know, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Come check us out. We are having so much fun here in the project, and we got so much more in store. We'll see you later. Take it easy, Legends. Rose out.
Yeah.